The Polyend Mess will bring life, movement, and vibe to your guitar or your synthesizer, and there's more than meets the eye. Let's explore together, shall we? First up, let's go ahead and get the name out of the way. MESS is an acronym for Multi-Effects Step Sequencer. And that's just what this pedal is. It's a multi-effects unit with up to 4 different effects that can be chained together in either series or in dual parallel or in fully parallel. And as you can see, you can simply press the 1 through 4 buttons to be able to view and assign effects. You'll see 6 knobs that allow you to modify the effects and modify global settings for each preset. And oh, by the way, the pedal comes with 150 really well thought out presets that you can use to get great sounds, but also to accelerate your learning of how to program and create your own presets. The step sequencer part is controlled through these 16 buttons here along the bottom part of the pedal. So what I'd like to do is play a preset that comes with a unit. It's called Multi-Cloud. Here is my dry tone, just a clean guitar tone. I'm going to go ahead and hit play. Oh yeah, there we go. And here's what Multi-Cloud sounds like. Super long reverb tails. Yeah, pretty cool. Now, a couple things to note. I'm going to turn the step sequencer on in a moment, and you're going to hear the life and the movement and the vibe kind of come into play. I do want to note here the ordering of these 4 effects. That little symbol there in the upper right-hand corner of the LCD screen stands for dual parallel. So effect 1 feeds into effect 2, and effect 3 feeds into effect 4. All right, so let me go ahead and turn Multi-Cloud back on, and I'm going to go ahead and engage the sequencer after I play a couple of chords so you can hear what the sequencer is doing to the preset. Oh, yeah. Now, can you hear the difference? Without the sequencer, it sounds great, but it's kind of a static sound. But when I turn the sequencer on, it kind of comes to life. Oh, yes. Oh, and I hope you're wearing headphones because this is a stereo demonstration. So let's look briefly at the effects and just talk about the controls. So effect number 1 is a chamber reverb. So that is what is being hit first in the chain. And basically the way it works are these 4 knobs will control these 4 blocks or these 4 options. There are 2 pages to every effect, right? The second page is a common set of options where you have your effects mix, the effect gain, so you can balance everything out as you build a preset, and then the sequencer options for the sequence length and the sequencer speed. That first page, though, is going to have 3 different options that are unique to each effect. And you can see here, chamber reverb, we're set to lo-fi. We have a decay time of 86%, and we've got a filter gain of negative 10%. Cool. Let's say I want to change that filter gain to negative 7 dB. There we go. I'm done. Let's go ahead and check out number 2. So I just kind of press number 2 and I switch instantly. This is a panning effect called drift. And you can see we've got drifting going on. We've got a frequency. This is the speed of the drift. And then we've got a waveform, a sine wave to control the shape of the pan itself. Briefly then, we've got another chamber reverb in effect 3 slot, the track. Oh, by the way, these are called tracks. In track number 3. The guitar signal is hitting this directly because it's dual parallel. So it's hitting the 2 reverbs at the same time and not from one into the other. 2 reverbs at the same time. And then finally, we have a second panning effect that will pan track 3, that second reverb. And again, this is drift. It's a little bit slower. And it's a triangle waveform. So we've got 2 different pans going on and 2 different reverbs going on. Again, let you listen to it. This is without the sequencer. And if you listen carefully, you can indeed hear the panning going on. And it actually sounds great. I like it a lot, even without the step sequencer. But let's go ahead and consider the step sequencer. Basically, each track, so each effect, can have its own set of steps. So if we look at track number 1, we'll notice that step 1 is the same color. That means it is engaged. So every time the sequencer comes around, there you can see it kind of going through its cycle, right? Every time it comes around and hits step 1, it's going to trigger that first reverb. Here's the cool thing. Every track can have its own unique set of parameters within the sequence. So we see that the first panning is set up the same way, very simple. We're going to execute the pan or trigger the pan on step 1, and it's just going to go all the way through to step 16. When it cycles around to step 1, it's going to re-trigger. Same with reverb number 2. And pan number 2 for reverb number 2 is just a little bit different. We're going to trigger on step 1, and then we're going to trigger again halfway through the sequence of 16 steps. And one of the really interesting things about this step sequencer is that you can customize each track or each effect every time the sequencer triggers the effect. All you have to do is hold down the button and you will see the options that you have. You can control what is called the play chance. That's the probability that the engine's actually going to trigger the effect when it hits it. Maybe I don't want to trigger all the time. I can actually turn down the chance. So maybe I only want it to hit 50% of the time. Now let's go to the second trigger here for panning. Maybe I want to increase the frequency. I can just turn the knob here and change the frequency, and it will only affect this second trigger. So let's go ahead and see what that sounds like. It's going to be a subtle difference for sure. It's a subtle difference for sure, but you can definitely hear a difference between the original preset and my change. Now what I'd like to do is set up a patch and just kind of walk through how I think about it. And to be quite honest, I'm still learning because there's so much to the mess. But the basics are fairly simple. I've got a new blank preset set up. I'm going to go ahead and press 1. And I'm going to click on the encoder here to select my effect type. And I'm going to go for a pitch shifter. And I'm going to turn the semitones up to 7, which is going to give me a perfect fifth above. Pretty straightforward. Let's go to the second page. And now I'm going to go ahead and decide what kind of sequence I want. In this case, I want an 8-step sequence. And there is a sequence speed. And again, this is per track or per effect. And I'm going to slow this one down. So we're going to have 8 steps running at half the tempo of the tap tempo. All right, let's go ahead and head on over to track 2. I'm going to save the sequencing for a little bit later here. This time I'm going to go ahead and select a delay. And we've got tons of different delays. And we're going to select one called Butterfly. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So let's slow this down to, let's do half T. Great. All right, let's add in track number 3. And for this one, I want to go ahead and add a micro looper, which is pretty cool. These are loopers that will capture a slice of what you play and then repeat it back in different ways. So I'm going to select the stereo slice option. Actually, I'm going to do the stereo reverse option, and I'm going to go ahead and slow it down so we can hear it a little bit better, and maybe even raise the gain just a couple of dB. All right, so let's hear what this sounds like. As you can hear, that's just going to keep going because it's repeating back. It's taken a slice and it's repeating it back in reverse. Great. Now we need a reverb. Of course, I want a reverb. So let's find a reverb here. Here's our chamber verb. Lo-fi. This is great. I'm going to do the blur, which is kind of a cool reverb. Whoop, let me turn this on. The only problem with that reverb is it's way too loud in relationship to the other effects. So I'm going to go ahead and reduce the mix down to about 25%. Let's try that out. Yes, that's great. Now, we're going to have to do some step sequencing because I don't want that slicer, the micro looper, just to keep playing back my notes ad infinitum. So let's go ahead and do this. We've got a sequence length on the pitch shifter of 8. So I don't want to, well, actually, I'm going to go ahead and hold this down. I'm going to hit this other one. Now I've got 4 blocks where I'm going to be pitch shifting a perfect fifth above. When I hit block 5, I'm going to select the next 4 blocks, and I'm going to change this to an octave below. So that'll be kind of interesting. Now, on the ping pong delay, I'm going to just leave this at a sequence length of 16. I'm going to hold down the first block and tap the last block, and that's going to just have it be a 16 block sequence of 1 trigger every 16 blocks. Cool. Let's go to the micro looper, and I'm going to make this sequence length, let's make it a length of 12, and every 4 blocks I want to re-trigger the micro looper. Okay, there we go. So it's going to trigger 3 times each sequence so I don't end up with interminable notes going on and on and on. And then on the hall reverb, let's try something crazy here. Let's do a sequence of 8 or 16. The first half or so, let's go ahead and make this a 50% chance of playing. And then the second 8 blocks, let's go ahead and increase that to a 100% chance of playing and see what we get. Now, again, here is what the preset sounds like without the step sequencer running. Kind of a cool sound. I'm going to turn it off because of that micro looper. But let me go ahead and engage the sequencer, and I'm going to turn the tempo down some. Let's turn it down to about 90 or so. You can see that the blocks are cycling much slower now. And let me bring in the effect and let's see what we get. Oh yeah, I think I want that up higher in the mix. Let's bring it almost all the way up. Let me try some EBO on this and let's see what we get. Yeah, I really like the movement. Now, if I turn off the sequencer, again, it sounds great, but it has a much more static nature to it versus turning on the sequencer. Well, there you have it. Given all that this thing can do, we've really just had a brief look at the possibility for adding life, motion, and vibe into your music. Please drop a comment below and let me know what you think about this powerful, powerful mess.